The sound of gunfire echoed through the barren training range as the Marine snipers lined up their shots. The air was tense, the targets, small steel plates glinting under the desert sun, stood unmoved, waiting to be claimed. One by one, the Marines took their turns, squeezing off rounds, missing more than they hit. Frustration hung in the air thicker than the heat. That's when a quiet voice broke the silence. "Can I borrow your rifle?" Every head turned. Standing behind the line was a woman in dusty fatigues, her hair tied back under her cap, a small patch reading Lieutenant Avery Cole on her chest. She wasn't part of the sniper unit, she was a communications officer, known more for fixing radios than firing rifles. Her presence on the range was almost laughable to the hardened Marines who prided themselves on precision and kill shots. Sergeant Miller, a man with 20 years of experience and an ego to match, scoffed. "This isn't the time for playing soldier, Lieutenant. We're calibrating, leave the toys to the big boys." Avery met his gaze calmly. "You're missing over half your targets, Sergeant. Maybe a fresh pair of eyes could help." The laughter that followed could have cracked stone. Yet, Avery didn't flinch. She simply stepped forward, hand extended. Miller stared, then smirked, handing over his custom M40 rifle. "Be my guest. Let's see if the radio girl can do what the Marine Corps best can't." The moment she gripped the weapon, her posture shifted. The laughter dimmed as the soldiers watched her lower herself to prone position with practiced precision. Her fingers danced over the bolt, checked the windage, adjusted the elevation. She exhaled slowly, once, twice, and then the range went silent. Crack! The first round hit dead center. Then another, and another. Her rhythm was mechanical yet fluid, every shot landed perfectly, each clang of steel echoing like a heartbeat. 10 shots, 20, 50. The Marines' smiles faded into awe as she moved seamlessly from one target to the next. At 80 shots, Miller leaned forward, muttering, "No way." By the time she hit her 101st target in a row, the only sound was the faint click of her empty magazine. She stood, brushed the sand from her knees, and gently handed the rifle back to the stunned sergeant. "Maybe the scope was never the problem," she said softly. The silence that followed was deafening. Then came the applause, from one Marine, then another, until the entire unit erupted in cheers. Even Miller couldn't suppress a grin. What they didn't know, what none of them had seen, was the story behind her calm and steady aim. Avery Cole had once been one of the Army's best snipers before transferring to the Marines to serve as a communications officer after a career-ending shoulder injury. She had left her rifle behind after watching her spotter and best friend, Private Ellis, fall during a mission overseas. The sound of his last breath haunted her every night. She had sworn never to pick up a sniper rifle again, until that day on the range, when she saw the same frustration, the same arrogance, the same mistakes she'd once made before tragedy struck. Her decision to step forward wasn't about proving herself. It was about reminding herself, that precision isn't about pride, it's about responsibility. Later that evening, Sergeant Miller found her sitting alone outside the barracks, the sunset painting the sky in gold and red. He sat beside her, quiet for a while, before saying, "That was the cleanest shooting I've ever seen. You ever think of training the new recruits?" Avery smiled faintly. "Not really. I just wanted to remind everyone why we shoot, to protect, not to boast." He nodded slowly. "You did more than remind them, Lieutenant. You inspired them." Word of her performance spread through the base like wildfire. The next morning, a group of young Marines waited for her on the range. They didn't come to mock her this time, they came to learn. Avery hesitated at first, but as she watched their eager faces, she remembered Ellis's words, "Teach them what you know, so fewer make our mistakes." So she did. Day after day, she trained them, not just to shoot, but to think, to breathe, to feel the purpose behind every pull of the trigger. The same Marines who once laughed now listened with respect. And on the day of their next qualification test, every one of her trainees passed with perfect scores. When the commanding officer asked how she'd done it, Avery's answer was simple: "You don't aim with your hands. You aim with your heart." Months later, when the unit was deployed overseas, Avery's lessons became their lifeline. Her students performed under pressure, making clean, precise shots that saved countless lives. One night, Miller sent her a message from the field: "Your training saved us today. Thank you, Lieutenant." Avery stared at the words for a long time, then smiled quietly, whispering into the night, "You'd be proud, Ellis."